From my own dear sweet Cicely. Well, I have never written you any letters.
You need hardly remind me of that, Ernest. I remember only too well that I was forced to write all your letters. I wrote always 3 times a week and sometimes oftener.
Well, do let me read them, Cicely.
I can't possibly do that. That would make you far too conceited. The 3 you wrote me after had broken off our engagement, which is so beautiful and so badly spelled that even now I hardly read them without crying a little.
What was our engagement broken off and why?
Of course it was. On the 22nd of the last March, you can see the entry if you like. Today, I broke off my engagement with Ernest. I feel it better to do so. The weather still continues charming.
But why on earth did you break it off? What had I done? I had done nothing at all, Cicely. Now I'm very much hurt indeed to hear that you broke off our engagement.
It would hardly have been a really serious engagement if I had been broken off at least once. But I forgave.
What a perfect angel you are, Cicely.
You, my dear romantic boy. You dear romantic boy. I hope your hair curls naturally. Does it?
Yes, with a little help from others.
I am so glad.
You will never break the engagement again, Cicely?
I don't think I could break it off now that I have actually met you. Besides, of course, there's the question of your name.
Yes. Yes, of course.
You must not laugh at me, darling, but it had always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone whose name is Earnest. There is something in that name that seems to inspire absolute confidence. I pity any poor married woman whose husband's not called Ernest.
Dear child, would you not love me if I had some other name?
But what name?
Well, maybe any name you want. Like, maybe Algernon, for example.
But I don't like the name Algernon.
Well, my dear sweet little Cicely, why wouldn't you like the name Algernon? It's a very, very aristocratic name. Your rector here, well, I suppose, should be very experienced with the rites and maybe like the ceremonials of the church.
Oh yes, Dr. Chasuble is a most learned man. He had never written a single book, so you can imagine how much he knows.
Well, now I must see him at once for a most important christening. Business. Most important business.
Oh.
I shall be away more than half an hour.
Considering that we have been engaged since February the 14th, and that I only met you today for the first time, I think it is rather hard that you should leave me so long. Accepted half an hour. Make it 20 minutes.
Don't worry, Cicely. It'll be really quick. I'll be back before you know it.
What an impetuous boy he is. I like his hair so much. I must enter this in my proposal diary.
Miss Fairfax has just called to see Mr. Worthing on very important business.
Isn't Mr. Worthing in his library?
Mr. Worthing went in the direction of the rectory some time ago.
Pray, ask the lady come out here. Mr. Worthing is going to be back soon. And bring some tea.
Yes, miss.
Miss Fairfax? I suppose one of the many elderly women who are associated with Uncle Jack and some of his work in London. I don't quite like women who are interested in philanthropic work. I think it is so forward of him.
Mrs. Fairfax.
Pray, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Cecily Cardew. What a very sweet name. I like you already. So much, more than I can say. Something tells me that we're going to be great friends. My first impression of people are never wrong. How nice of you to like me so much after we've known each other for such a short time. Pray, sit down. I may call you Cecily, may I not? With pleasure. And you will call me Gwendolyn, won't you? If you wish. Then it's all settled, isn't it? I hope so. Perhaps this might be a favorable opportunity for me to mention who I am. My father is Lord Bracknell. You never heard of Papa, I suppose? I don't think so. Outside the family circle, I'm glad to say Papa is entirely unknown. I think that is quite as it should be. The home seems to me to be the proper sphere for the man. Oh, not at all, Gwendolyn. I am very fond of being looked at. You are here on a short visit, I suppose. Oh no, I live here. Really? Your mother or some female relative of advanced years resides here also? Oh no, I don't have no mother, nor in fact any relatives. Indeed? My dear guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, has the task of looking for me. Your guardian. Yes, I am Mr. Worthing's ward. Oh, how strange. He never mentioned to me he has a ward. How secretive of him. He grows more interesting hourly. But now that I know that you're Mr. Worthing's ward, I cannot express what I wish you are. Well, just a little older than you seem to be. And not quite so very alluring in appearance. In fact, if I may speak candidly, pray do. I think whenever someone has something unpleasant to say, one should always be quite candid. Cecily, I wish you were fully 42, and more than plain for your age. I beg your pardon, Gwendolyn. Did you say Ernest? Oh, but it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is my guardian. It is his brother, his elder brother. Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother. I am sorry to say, they have not been on good terms for a long time. And now that I think of it, I've never heard any man mention his brother. Are you quite sure that it's not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is your guardian? Quite sure. In fact, I'm going to be his. I beg your pardon? Dearest Gwendolyn, there is no reason why I should make it a secret to you. Our little county newspaper is sure to chronicle the fact next week. Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married. My darling Cecily, I think there must be a slight error. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me. The announcements will be posted on Saturday at the latest. I am afraid you must be under some misconception. Ernest proposed to me about 10 minutes ago. It is very curious, for he asked me to be his wife yesterday afternoon at 5:30. If you would care to verify the incidents, pray do so. It would distress me more than I can tell you, dear Gwendolyn. But I feel bound to point out, since Ernest proposed to you, he must have changed his mind. If the poor fellow has been entrapped in any foolish promise, I should consider it my duty to rescue him at once, and with a firm hand. Whatever unfortunate entanglement my dear boy got into, I will never reproach him with it after we're married. Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an engagement? You are presumptuous. On an occasion of this kind, it becomes more than a moral duty to speak someone's mind. It becomes a pleasure. Do you suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into an engagement? How dare you? This is no time for wearing the shallow mask of manners. When I see a spade, I call it a spade. I am glad to say that I've never seen a spade. It is obvious that our social spheres have been widely different.
Shall I lay tea here as usual, miss?
Yes, as usual. Are there many interesting walks in this vicinity, Miss Cardew? Oh yes, a great many. From the top of the hills you can see 5 counties. 5 counties? I don't think I should like that. I hate crowds. I suppose this is why you live in town? Quite a well-kept garden this is, Miss Cardew. So glad you like it, Miss Fairfax. I had no idea there were any flowers in this country. Oh, flowers are common here, Miss Fairfax, as people in London.
Oh, ducks.
Ernest, my Ernest. Don't get away from my shoes.
Oh.
Express. Mom, go. In fact, if I may speak, delete it.
Miss Fairfax.
Papa, I'm gladly. Okay.